Namaste, Dandavat Pranam. By the instruction and grace of our spiritual master Om Vishnupad, Paramahamsa Sripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj, we are here reading Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And we're also giving our humble Dandavat Pranam and all gratitude to Om Vishnupad, Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada for giving us this commentary and translation of Srimad Bhagavatam. And we are also honoring today the divine appearance of Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. He has told that if we cannot discover Srimati Radharani within the 18,000 verses of Bhagavatam, then our study of Bhagavatam has been pointless. So we also pray to Srimati Radharani. Yadi seva vanchita syama yasya kripaya vayam labhema sarvam prapnuma prayojanam damni Shri Bhagavat Pade Krishna sambandhi sarvam cha yadi na jani mahetu tam astadashasu sahasreshu shlokanam bhagavat oktishu radharanim na vindamatada nisfalam bhagavat adhyayanam radhikaya kripam vina vyartasyat sarva parishrama. If we are cheated out of serving that personality whose mercy awards us everything we need, including residence in the Lord's holy Dham and all things connected to Krishna, and if we cannot understand or discover Radharani within the 18,000 verses of the Srimad Bhagavatam, then our study of Srimad Bhagavatam has been pointless. Without the mercy of Srimati Radharani, all our efforts are in vain. So we are continuing from Canto 4, the creation of the fourth order, chapter 24, chanting the song sung by Lord Śiva, text 43. Shakti Traya Samitaya Midhuse Hankritatmane Cheta Akuti Rupaya Namo Vacho Vibhutaye. My dear Lord, you are the supreme controller of the worker, sense activities, and results of sense activities, karma. Therefore, you are the controller of the body, mind, and senses. You are also the supreme controller of egotism, known as Rudra. You are the source of knowledge and the activities of the Vedic injunctions. Purport. Everyone acts under the direction of the ego. Therefore, Lord Śiva is trying to purify false egotism through the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Since Lord Śiva or Rudra is himself the controller of egotism, he indirectly wants to be purified by the mercy of the Lord, so that his real egotism can be awakened. Of course, Lord Rudra is always spiritually awake, but for our benefit he is praying in this way. For the impersonalist, pure egotism is aham brahmasmi. I am not this body, I am spirit soul. But in its actual position, the spirit soul has devotional activities to perform. Therefore, Lord Śiva prays to be engaged both in mind and in action in devotional service of the Supreme Lord, according to the direction of the Vedas. This is the process for purifying false egotism. Cheta means knowledge. Without perfect knowledge, one cannot act perfectly. The real source of knowledge is the vacha, or sound vibration, given by Vedic instructions. Here the word vacha or vibration means the Vedic vibration. The origin of creation is sound vibration, and if the sound vibration is clear and purified, perfect knowledge and perfect activities actually become manifest. This is enacted by the chanting of the Hare of the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thus Lord Śiva is praying again and again for the purification of body, mind, and activities through the purification of knowledge and action under the pure directions of the Vedas. Lord Śiva prays to the Supreme Personality of Godhead so that his mind, senses, and words will all turn toward devotional activities only. Text 44. Darshanam no didrikshunam dehi bhagavatharchitam rupam priyatamam svanam sarvendriya gunanjanam. My dear Lord, I wish to see you exactly in the form that your very dear devotees worship. You have many other forms, but I wish to see your form that is especially liked by the devotees. Please be merciful upon me and show me that form, for only that form worshipped by the devotees can perfectly satisfy all the demands of the senses. Purport. In the Shruti, or Veda mantra, it is said that the Supreme Absolute Truth is Sarva Kama Sarva Gandha Sarva Rasaha, or in other words, he is known as Rasovai Saha, the source of all relishable relations, or rasas. We have various senses, the powers of seeing, tasting, smelling, touching, etc., and all the propensities of our senses can be satisfied when the senses are engaged in the service of the Lord. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhaktir Uchate. Bhakti means engaging all the senses in the service of the master of the senses, Rishikesh. This is from the Narada Pancharatra. These material senses, however, cannot be engaged in the service of the Lord. Therefore, one has to become free from all designations. Sarvo padhi vinirmuktam tatparadvena nirmalam. One has to become free from all designation or false egotism and thus become purified. When we engage our senses in the service of the Lord, the desires or the inclinations of the senses can be perfectly fulfilled. Lord Śiva, therefore, wants to see the Lord in a form which is inconceivable to the Bauddha philosophers or the Buddhists. The impersonalists and the voidists also have to see the form of the Absolute. In Buddhist temples, there are forms of Lord Buddha in meditation, but these are not worshipped like the forms of the Lord in Vaishnava temples. Forms like Radha Krishna, Sita Ram, or Lakshmi Narayan. Amongst the different sampradayas, the Vaishnava sects, either Radha Krishna or Lakshmi Narayan is worshipped. Lord Śiva wants to see that form perfectly, just as the devotees want to see it. The words Rupam Priyatamam Svanam are specifically mentioned here, indicating that Lord Śiva wants to see that form which is very dear to the devotees. The word Svanam is especially significant because only the devotees are very, very dear to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Jnanis, Yogis, and Karmis are not particularly dear, for the Karmis simply want to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead as their order supplier. The Jnanis want to see him to become one with him, and the Yogis want to see him partially represented within their heart as Paramatma. But the Bhaktas, or the devotees, want to see his complete perfection, want to see him in his complete perfection. As stated in Brahma Samhita 5.30, Venum kvanantam aravinda dalayataksham Baharatam samashitam buddha sundarangam Kandarpakoti Kamaniya Vishesha Sobam Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is adept at playing on his flute, whose eyes are blooming like lotus petals, whose head is bedecked with peacock flowers, whose beauty is tinged with the hue of blue clouds, and whose unique loveliness charms millions of cupids. Thus, Lord Shiva's desire is to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead as he is described in this way. That is, he wants to see him as he appears to the Bhagavat, the Bhagavatas, the devotees. The conclusion is that Lord Shiva wants to see him in complete perfection and not in the impersonalist or voidist way. Although the Lord is one in his various forms, Advaitim, Achyutim, Anadim, still his form as the young enjoyer of the gopis and companion of the cowherd boys, Kishora Murti, is the most perfect form. Thus, Vaishnavas accept the form of the Lord and his Vrindavan pastimes as the chief form. Texts 45 through 46. Snigdha pravridganasyama sarva saundharya sangraham charvayata chaturbahu sujata ruchiranam padmakosa palaskasham sundara briru sunsikam sudvijam shukapalosyam samakarna vibhushanam. The Lord's beauty resembles a dark cloud during the rainy season. As the rainfall glistens, his bodily features also glisten. Indeed, he is the sum total of the beauty, of all beauty. The Lord has 4 arms and an exquisitely beautiful face, with eyes like lotus petals, a beautiful, highly raised nose, a mind-attracting smile, a beautiful forehead, and equally beautiful and fully decorated ears. Purport. After the scorching heat of the summer season, it is very pleasing to see dark clouds in the sky. As confirmed in Brahma Samhita, Varhavatam Sam Ashitam Buddha Sundarangam, the Lord wears a peacock feather in his hair, and his bodily complexion is just like a blackish cloud. The word Sundara or Snigdha means very pleasing. Kandharpakoti Kamaniya. Krishna's beauty is so pleasing that not even millions upon millions of cupids can compare to it. The Lord's form as Vishnu is decorated in all opulence. Therefore, Lord Shiva is trying to see that most opulent form of Narayan or Vishnu. Generally, the worship of the Lord begins with the worship of Narayan or Vishnu, whereas the worship of Lord Krishna and Radha is most confidential. Lord Narayan is worshipable by the Pancharatrika Vidhi, or regulative principles, whereas Lord Krishna is worshipable by the Bhagavat Vidhi. No one can worship the Lord in the Bhagavat Vidhi without going through the regulations of the Pancharatrika Vidhi. Actually, neophyte devotees worship the Lord according to Pancharatrika Vidhi, or the regulative principles enjoined in the Narada Pancharatra. Radha Krishna cannot be approached by the neophyte devotees. Therefore, temple worship according to regulative principles is offered to Lakshmi Narayan. Although they may be a Radha Krishna Vigraha or form, the worship of the neophyte devotees is acceptable as Lakshmi Narayan worship. Worship according to the Pancharatrika Vidhi is called Vidhimarg, and worship according to the Bhagavat Vidhi is called Ragamarg. The principles of Ragamarg are especially meant for devotees who are elevated to the Vrindavan platform. The inhabitants of Vrindavan, the gopis, Mother Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj, the cowherd boys, the cows, and everyone else, are actually on the Raga Marg or Bhagavat Marg platform. They participate in 5 basic rasas: Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhurya, and Shanta. But although these 5 rasas are found in the Bhagavat Marg, the Bhagavat Marg is especially meant for Vatsalya and Madhurya, or parental and conjugal relationships. Yet there is the Vipralamba Sakya, a higher fraternal worship of the Lord, especially enjoyed by the cowherd boys. Although there is friendship between Krishna and the cowherd boys, this friendship is different from the Aishvarya friendship between Krishna and Arjuna. When Arjuna saw the Vishvarup, the gigantic universal form of the Lord, he was afraid for having treated Krishna as an ordinary friend. Therefore, he begged Krishna's pardon. However, the cowherd boys who are friends of Krishna in Vrindavan sometimes ride on the shoulders of Krishna. They treat Krishna equally, just as they treat one another, and they are never afraid of him, nor do they ever beg his pardon. Thus, in the Raga Marg or Bhagavat Marg, friendship exists on a higher platform with Krishna, namely the platform of Vishramba friendship, Parental friendship, parental service, and conjugal service are visible in the Vrindavan Ragamarg relationships. Without serving Krishna according to the Vidimarg regulative principles of the Pancharatrika Vidi, unscrupulous persons want to jump immediately to the Ragamarg principles. Such persons are called Sahaja. There are also demons who enjoy depicting Krishna and his pastimes with the gopis, taking advantage of Krishna by their licentious character. These demons who print books and write lyrics on the Ragamarg principles are surely on the way to hell. Unfortunately, they lead others down with them. Devotees in Krishna consciousness should be very careful to avoid such demons. One should strictly follow the Vidimarg regulative principles in the worship of Lakshmi Narayan, although the Lord is present in the temple as Radha Krishna. Radha Krishna includes Lakshmi Narayan, therefore when one worships the Lord according to regulative principles, the Lord accepts the service in the role of Lakshmi Narayan. In the Nectar of Devotion, full instructions are given about the Vidimarg worship of Radha Krishna, or Lakshmi Narayan. Although there are 64 kinds of offenses one can commit in Vidimarg worship, in Ragamarg worship there is no consideration of such offenses, because the devotees on that platform are very much elevated, and there is no question of offense. But if we do not follow the regulative principles on the Vidimarg platform and keep our eyes trained to spot offenses, we will not make progress. In his description of Krishna's beauty, Lord Śiva uses the words Charvyata Chatur Bahu Sujata Ruchiraranam, indicating the beautiful 4-armed form of Narayan, or Vishnu. Those who worship Lord Krishna describe him as Sujata Ruchiraranam. In the Vishnu Tattva, there are hundreds and thousands and millions of forms of the Supreme Lord. But all of these forms, the form of Krishna is, of all these forms, the form of Krishna is the most beautiful. Thus, for those who worship Krishna, the word Sujata Ruchiraranam is used. The 4 arms of Lord Vishnu have different purposes. The hands holding a lotus flower and conch shell are meant for the devotees, whereas the other 2 hands holding a disc and mace or club are meant for the demons. Actually, all of the Lord's arms are auspicious, whether they are holding conch shells and flowers or clubs and discs. The demons killed by Lord Vishnu's chakra, disc, and club are elevated to the spiritual world, just like the devotees who are protected by the hands holding the lotus flower and the conch shell. However, the demons who are elevated to the spiritual world are situated in the impersonal Brahman effulgence. whereas the devotees are allowed to enter the Vaikuntha planets. Those who are devotees of Lord Krishna are immediately elevated to the Goloka Vrindavan planet. The Lord's beauty is compared to rainfall because when the rain falls in the rainy season, it becomes more and more pleasing to the people. After the scorching heat of the summer season, the people enjoy the rainy season very much. Indeed, they even come out of their doors in the villages and enjoy the rainfall directly. Thus, the Lord's bodily features are compared to the clouds of the rainy season. The devotees enjoy the Lord's beauty because it is a collection of all kinds of beauties. Therefore, the word sarva saundarya sangraham is used. No one can say that the body of the Lord is wanting in beautiful parts. It is completely purnam. Everything is complete. God's creation, God's beauty, and God's bodily features. All these are so complete that all one's desires can become fully satisfied when one sees the beauty of the Lord. The word sarva saundarya indicates that there are different types of beauties in the material and spiritual worlds, and that the Lord contains all of them. Both materialists and spiritualists can enjoy the beauty of the Lord. Because the Supreme Lord attracts everyone, including demons and devotees, materialists and spiritualists, he is called Krishna. Similarly, his devotees also attract everyone. As mentioned in the Sad Goswami Stotra, Dhira Dhira Jana Priyo. The Goswamis are equally dear to the Dhira, devotees, and Adhira, demons. Lord Krishna was not very pleasing to the demons when he was present in Vrindavan, but the 6 Goswamis were pleasing to the demons when they were present in Vrindavan. That is the beauty of the Lord's dealings with his devotees. Sometimes the Lord gives more credit to his devotees than he takes for himself. For instance, on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Lord Krishna fought simply by giving directions. Yet it was Arjuna who took credit for fighting. Nimitta matram bhava savyasachin. You, O Savyasachi, Arjuna, can be but an instrument in the fight. Bhagavad Gita 11.33. Everything was arranged by the Lord, but the credit of victory was given to Arjuna. Similarly, in the Krishna consciousness movement, everything is happening according to the predictions of Lord Chaitanya, but the credit goes to Lord Chaitanya's sincere servants. Thus, the Lord is described herein as Sarva Saundarya Sangraham. And thus ends our reading for today. We will continue from text 47 on Wednesday. Were there any comments or contributions or questions from the assembled devotees? Jai Avirbhav Mahotsav Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivarikacharya Sri Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Sripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Srila Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, Srila Acharya Dev, Srila Shanta Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Sri Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories for the worldwide devotees, Salma Bhaktiveda Vrinda Ki Jai. Jai Navadvip Dham Ki Jai, Nrshingapali Dham Ki Jai, Mayapur Dham Ki Jai, Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Ju Ki Jai, Ganga Mai Yamuna Mai Ki Jai, Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Giri Govardhan Gupta Govardhan Dham Ki Jai, Sham Kund Radha Kund Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi Vrinda Devi Ki Jai, Jai Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Jai Harinam Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai, Scientific Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai, Princeton Bhaktivedanta Institute Ki Jai, Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Institute Ki Jai, Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai, Nitai Gaura Brahmanandi Hari
Bol.
Bol. Jai Shrimati Uma Devi Dasi ki jai. Jai Sripad
Ki jai.
Nanda Prabhu ki jai. Hare
Jai.
Krishna.
Jai.
Sripad
Hari
Krishna
Bol.
Keshav Prabhu ji ki jai.
Ki jai.
Jai Gurudev.
Dandavat.
Dhanavad.
Dhanavad.